We'll call to order the meeting of the Tennessee Fish and Wildlife Commission. Today is for committee meeting, and this is September 27th, 2012. My name is William L. Brown, and I am the chairman of the commission. At this time, I'll ask Ms. Hayes to call the roll.
Jim Bledsoe.
Here.
Jim Bledsoe is present. William Brown.
Here.
William Brown is present. Harold Cannon.
Here.
Harold Cannon is present. Bill Cox.
Here.
Bill Cox is present. Jeff Griggs.
Here.
Jeff Griggs is present. Jeff McMillan.
Here.
Jeff McMillan is present. Tom Rice.
Here.
Tom Rice is present. Jim Ripley. Jim Ripley is not present. Julie Schuster.
Yes.
Julie Schuster is present. Clayton Stout. Clayton Stout is present. James Stroud. James Stroud is present. Trey Teague.
Here.
Trey Teague is present. Jamie Woodson. Jamie is not present.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a pretty full docket today. There will be a tablet circulated throughout the room. If you would, please sign your name since you're in attendance today. If you represent a special group, put down the group that you're representing and just pass that around the room. If you want to address the commission at any point during the meeting, I'll ask you to come to the front to the microphone, state your name and the subject matter of your comments. We will only have comments made during the time the particular committee is meeting, and that is, in other words, wildlife. If you've got a matter concerning wildlife, come up during the time when we ask for public comments during the wildlife committee's session. Same way with fisheries, etc. At this time, I'm going to call on Commissioner Schuster for retention and recruitment.
Thank you, Chairman Brown. The Retention and Recruitment Committee recognizes Mike Butler, CEO of the Tennessee Wildlife Federation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commission, appreciate the invite to come and present to you today. I'm here simply to say a big thank you to the Commission and the agency for their support of one of our partnership programs that we do with the Wildlife Agency, the Tennessee Scholastic Clay Target Program, and I'm going to invite Andrew Piercy, our state manager for the program, to come up here and make a presentation. And then we have a couple of short items after that. If I have to leave here before we're finished up, I apologize. I've got a 2 o'clock meeting in my own office that I have to be at, but you should be in great hands with Andrew. He comes to us. Before he worked for us, he was a 6-year coach for the BGA school team and has a lot of experience and a lot of passion for this program. So I would invite him to come up and make a presentation to y'all.
Good afternoon. Like Mike said, my name is Andrew Piercy. I'm the manager of the Tennessee Scholastic Clay Target Program with the Tennessee Wildlife Federation. The mission of TNSCTP is to introduce youth into an outdoor lifestyle and recruit them to that for a lifetime. During this presentation, we're going to talk about a lot of things that we do to encourage that. But first, we would like to thank the Commission and TWRA itself. Over the past several years, TWRA has provided a large grant to support our program, and it covers roughly 35% of our operating budget. In addition to that, numerous agency personnel interact and help with our program. A brief history of the program. It started in 2001 with Alan and Betty Lovelace. Tennessee Wildlife Federation took over day-to-day operations in 2005. In the early years, it was only American trap, and it expanded to include American skeet and sporting clays. Then in 2007, we decided to bring in the international games with the Tennessee State Junior Olympic Championships. The first step in our outdoor lifestyle recruitment is to get youth involved in the target shooting sports. From our coaches and athletes, safety is first and foremost in what we preach, even with the spectators on the field. With the goal of promoting lessons through healthy competition, we also recognize performance both in the classroom and on the field through numerous scholarships and other activities, and through the recognition of our all-state team. The next step is to recruit individuals into our outdoor hunting and lifestyle. The culmination of our efforts to recruit youth into this outdoor lifestyle is taking on their first hunt and teaching them to be responsible and ethical sportsmen and women. With the cooperation of TWRA and a 2007 Hunting Heritage Grant, TNSCTP began in earnest our hunting program. We also assisted with several smaller hunts for deer, turkey, bear, dove, and quail over the years. Starting in 2005, we also had some small duck hunts. From the planting of these seeds, many parents and coaches have realized the opportunities provided by hunting and have begun to have own small programs within their team. To continue with this, we founded the Davis P. Rice Youth Memorial Hunts in 2009. And over the past 5 years, we have had the world's largest youth waterfowl hunt in Dyersburg, Tennessee, taking over 530 youth on their first hunt. To further recognize Davis's memorial, we added a youth dove hunt in East Tennessee, completing our second one this past September. The Tennessee Scholastic Clay Target Program is a school-based program based on teams. Where many of our schools have not yet to adapt the program, we've partnered with the 4-H, the Scouts, and local gun clubs. With the success of those other teams, many schools are now adopting the program and encouraging us to have programs in their area. Region 2 and Region 1 encompass roughly 2/3 and 3/4 of our program. While we're getting growth all over across the state, any contacts in Region 4 and Region 3 would be greatly appreciated. With the exception of the brief downturn in the economy, we can see that the program is continually growing. Trap is still the dominant game, but since their inception, trap, skeet, and sporting clays have grown rapidly. This past year, we had over 1,750 athletes in the program. We compete across 4 different major age groups. Over the few years, Bethel, UT Martin, and several other universities have begun to have programs and compete with us. With this comparison of the last 2 years, you can tell that the bulk of our program is in the upper school grades. Studies have shown that getting youth involved at a young level will bring them back to an older sport when they grow up. Even though some of our youth are only with us a brief period of time, we know that we are instilling a program that will be with them for a lifetime. The key membership requirement is hunter education, and all of our athletes are required to pass it. We've noticed in the program that 30% take hunter education just to join our program. These are individuals who may never have been involved with hunter education at all, but they understand the safety and importance it is to the program. 80% purchase a new shotgun once joining, and 60% purchase a hunting and fishing license. Many of the teams that I talk with, they ask what school of sports is this going to pull from? It really doesn't. A lot of the activities and athletes that we have involved in this, they participate in no other extracurricular activities. So this is a tremendous opportunity for many of our youth. With over 300 head and assistant coaches all volunteered across the state, we train at least 75 of them a year from Olympic level coaches. They serve not only to produce the youth shooting ability, but to serve as mentors for these young individuals, since they are primarily the only extracurricular activity that many of these participate in. In addition to our coaches, we have numerous parents, faculty, staff, and other TWRA volunteers that help throughout the program during the year. The exciting information is the impact that the lives that these coaches have and these athletes have on other people they're involved with. They spread shooting and hunting to other family members and other people that they may never have had a contact with. And family involvement is the key to the program. According to a recent responsive management survey, spending time with family is an important element of any youth activity. This is something that parents, kids can stay involved with for a lifetime. And hopefully these youngsters will share shooting sports, and hunting with their generation. Our season begins September 1st. Our early bird deadline is January 1st that we use for many of our hunting opportunities. Throughout the season, we have coaches training and local shoots, and our registration concludes in April. When it comes to competition, our Junior Olympics are around the first week of May. Our regional championships are held after Memorial Day, and our state championship is held in mid-June at the Nashville Gun Club. This past year, we had over 1,600 participants, the largest shoot ever held in the state of Tennessee. Then we move on to our national championships toward the end of end of July. We recognize numerous individuals, 60 regional championships, 15 state champions, and we award both squads and individuals. With our All-State Awards, we recognize performance on the field and in the classroom. And to date, we've given over 63 scholarships for over $63,000. When it comes to the Junior Olympics, Tennessee is also very successful. We have 4 of 22 National Junior Olympic members. And we have had 2 promoted to the National Olympic team, one from Columbia and one from Murfreesboro. Every year, Tennessee is always recognized and well represented at the National Shoot. This year, we had 1/4 of all the participants, and the National Shoot was not that much larger than their own state shoot. We brought home 11 national titles for a total of 27 since the program's inception. Jeanette C. Rudy, former commissioner and very good friend of the program, has a cup named after her, which is given to the highest trap shooter from Tennessee at the national competition. For the last 5 years, this has also gone to the highest shooter at the entire national competition. But awards and recognitions are not the only thing. There are many intangibles that we cannot be able to measure. The safety that these kids have and the awareness of what goes on around them. From my experience as a coach, many of the faculty that I worked with at BGA commented that the students that BGA had that were on the team were probably the most aware, most responsible, and some of the best mannered students on the campus. And I've received that comment from not only my team, but numerous other teams. Since the inception of the program, we have impacted 70,000 people with an average of 85,000 hours of volunteer per year, and we throw over 3 million targets. That's quite a number. The program must maintain itself. We have annual loss due to graduation and attrition each year. Not only are we able to replace those, but we've been able to successfully grow each year, with the past year netting over 120 individuals. As the program grows and becomes more exposed in the media and the teams have success, we get growth in existing teams. Plus, we get additional teams that call us and say, hey, how do we form a new team? Or we're able to go into an area to try to plan a new team. From those 2 methods, our first object is to go in and figure out what kind of interest is at a team, get the coaches and the athletes trained, and then get them signed up, registered, and shooting. But we do have some barriers to growth that we must overcome. The first is range capacity and practice space. In a recent survey, the dropout rate increases the further you are from 30 minutes from a range. We're working numerously across the state with existing ranges to put in more fields and to find better places to put ranges so we can have more opportunities for our teams to practice. The next barrier is pure cost of practice. It's roughly $40 per practice per shooter, and that's for a one-time event. If a team practices multiple days during the week, you're talking $40 per day. Tennessee Walleye Federation does what it can to support these shooters. We provide new team startup grants, and we work with them to find numerous other fundraising opportunities. And we're currently working with Midway USA to find new opportunities and new avenues for support growth. It costs a fair amount to expand a range across the state, and we're looking at several targeted areas where we know we have team growth and wanting to add ranges. In addition, it costs us roughly $500 to $5,000 depending on the type of hunt to expand hunting opportunities. The Tennessee Scholastic Clay Target Program is positioned very well, and we're hoping to have extremely good growth. And with your continued support, I know we'll be able to keep doing that. Thank you. Now, at this time, would like to introduce a few of our teams that we have with us today. Would the Henry County team stand up? And the parents are with them. This is our national championship rookie team. And also want to ask our Jefferson County representatives to stand up. Jefferson County won national varsity championship for trap and the overall championship in combining trap, skeet, and sporting clays. If you all will be seated. Will the agency personnel that are with us today that help coach please stand up? Jeff, stand up too. There's several in the corner who didn't want to stand up. But without them, we would not be able to hold many of the programs and many of the events that we have. They do a tremendous amount to help us with coaching and things throughout the state. I also have one piece of thing to go on the wall for Director Carter. This past spring, the State House gave a resolution recognizing the SCTP. I'd like to present that to hang at the state offices. Do the commissioners have any questions?
Any questions, comments? I'd just like to say thank you for all that you're doing to continue the success, and as well as the Federation. And you know, I think we're leading the country by way of this program and its inception, and you're doing a great job, so appreciate that. Anyone else?
I've got a comment. You highlighted the Davis Rice hunts, and I'd like to publicly recognize Tom. This is in memory of his son, and he is just thank you for what you've done to get kids involved in hunting. Great.
I'll further echo that, and I know Tom's heard many of these. The youth that have come to those hunts, a lot of them have said, you know, this is great, this is my first hunt of any kind, and many of them are continuing, you know, when they leave the blind, they're saying, when can I come back and do this again? And when we were at the dove field, they were leaving the dove field saying, when can we come back and do this again? So they're really enjoying it. We're looking for many other opportunities to provide those to our youth.
All right.
Dale, thank you for that kind comment, but without the landowners that participate in the fields that they plant, and then in Dyer County and up in Lake County, those people that own the lands and have the duck blinds and are willing to take 6 or 8 kids that they don't know and take them out into the field and to expose them in a safe atmosphere to a sport that I think is the greatest sport in the world. And one of the first things that you learn is that 150 kids dressed in camo at 6:30 in the morning all look alike in a hotel parking lot. So you have to meet your kids the night before.
Well, again, we just want to thank you, and also all of you that attended, that have participated in the program and done so well. We, on behalf of the commission, really appreciate that you took the time to come out today. It means a lot to see personally that you're all here and see who you are and how well you did, so congratulations.
Are there any of these kids that give lessons seating during the program? You're on.
Anyone else? All right, thank you so much. Oh, Director Carter?
Are you ready to move on to the next one? I'd like to finish up some stuff on SCTP, if that's okay.
Please.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'll echo that. I've been hunting with Harold, and we'd appreciate it if you could get some. Buddy. Oh, my granddaughter is just joining the team at the high school where she is attending, so I assume I'll be right there with you. We'll go together to the same lessons. I'll have to admit there's been so many people over the years that have been involved in this program, and so many of them have gained both state and national recognition. It's hard to single out anybody in particular at all. But I did, at some point in the real near future, I'd like to single out the Henry County shooters for being the national champions on the, what was the word, Andrew? For the rookies. We got a chance. But that's well, you're probably right. But we'd like to do that. But today I was really aware of the Jefferson County team for a couple reasons. One is that Wayne Rich, who's the officer there in Jefferson County, has been with us for a number of years, has coached that team, and this year they won 2 national titles. So in working with the commission already knows this, of course, we have a resolution that we would like to offer up for official action by the commission regarding the Jefferson County team. With your permission, I'll read that, Commissioner. Whereas increasing participation in outdoor recreation is a worthy goal, especially in the programs which involve young people, and whereas participation in the shooting sports programs teaches not only safety but expertise, teamwork, self-esteem, and self-discipline, and whereas Tennessee has over 80 Scholastic clay target programs boasting more than 1,800 youth participants who have constantly excelled on a national level of prominence, and whereas the Jefferson County Patriots 4-H shooters team for 2 consecutive years have been Tennessee Scholastic clay target program champions and have now reached the pinnacle of success by claiming the national title in senior trap shooting and also securing a 2nd national title in team high overall national champions, including all groups except college, by breaking 2,079 targets out of a possible 2,200. Now therefore be it resolved that the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency and the Tennessee Fish and Wildlife Commission on this 27th day of September 2012 in Nashville, Tennessee offers its most sincere congratulations and appreciation for a job exceedingly well done to the Jefferson County 4-H shooters team and to their sponsors and coaches who devote time and funding which enables their award-winning endeavors. And be it further resolved that the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency and the Tennessee Fish and Wildlife Commission offer special recognition and praise for Jefferson County Wildlife Officer Wayne Rich for his personal effort in coaching and supporting the Patriots and achieving success at the highest level in every aspect of the team and its members. So on behalf of the Wildlife Resources Agency and the Commission, Wayne, if you wouldn't mind coming up, and you can bring your team with you if you like.
This is Brad McFarland. He started 4 years ago. But Brad was one of the shooters that shot all 3 disciplines, and he was on the trap team that won the national. This is my son Hunter Rich, and he's been a participant since 2005. He's had several state championships since he started. And finally, his senior year, he got to grab be part of the national championship team. So, thank you, Director Parks.
Thank you, Wayne. We appreciate all you do. Commissioner, that's all I have. Commissioner Rice, I will tell you, my granddaughter, as you know, has been a participant in that hunt for the last 2 years. This year, just so you'll know, it cost me an extra $50 because she also plays ball. And by the time we got out of ball, we were hurrying to get there. They have cameras in the Jackson area for speeding. I just thought you might want to be aware of that. So, thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Director.
I'm not the only one who found out.
Thank you, Director Carter. Commissioner Cox?
I had a question for Nat or Ken or somebody. The excise tax that we receive, our portion of it off of shotgun shells and et cetera, have we seen an increase in that?
Yes, before last, we got a big spike, and I think what Barry is reporting is we're gonna
All right, moving on. The Retention and Recruitment Committee recognizes Don Crawford, Assistant Chief, Information and Education Division.
Okay. Thank you very much. Today I'm here to talk a little bit about, where's it going? Mind of its own. Can I talk a little bit about the, this is great. What's it doing, Jacob? That first slide maybe moves on its own. Use your arrows to move. Okay. Maybe we'll see what it does here in a minute. Okay. Today I want to talk a little bit about is a new program we just starting to get going here. And it's going to keep moving. We're going to back up. Sorry. Okay. The new program we just started is called the National Fishing into Schools Program. This program was designed and is developed for our youth to learn how to fish in schools. It sort of mimics the National Archery in the School program, sort of how what it does. There's two different aspects to this program. There's one is cast a fly, catch a student, which they use a fly rod. The next one is cast a lure, catch a student. And it uses the conventional rods and reels, either the Zebco, not a Zebco, I shouldn't say Zebco, but a closed face or some kind of spin cast is what they're using. The National Fishing into Schools program is the trademark name for the Fishing Education Foundation, which is a nonprofit. What they do is they assist the schools in trying to get the program. They also assist with money as far as grants. And this year we received $15,000 from them for a grant for 10 schools to help them buy this kit. So we're pretty proud of that right there. What is the Fishing in the Schools program? It started in January of 2009. And basically what it is for grades 6 through 12 in the schools. It meets all the national academic standards for language arts, goes for physical education, technology, and also very good for the science. That's what I think is part of the best. And as I was saying earlier, it pretty much just mimics the National Archery in the School program and what the success they've had with that program. What did the students learn in this program? First of all, not just learning how to fish, but they learn a lot about the outdoors. It gets into aquatic entomology, which is talking about insects. They learn about all different types of insects. They learn about different flies and the bait and lure selection. They also get into fly tying for the fly rods. It talks about fish species. They've got 19 different species. They talk about fish. They talk about freshwater and saltwater, and also they get into the ecology. They get into conservation and into stewardship. So it's a pretty well-rounded program from what we can tell. What the kit consists of, first is to get 10 rods or outfits, 10 rods and reels. They got I'll get a little better picture of these targets here in a minute. There's 10 bullseye targets. There's 3 water scene targets that they use, and there's 20 fish. And here's some of the fish. There's a couple of them I brought. I'll pass them around to you. But on each fish, they have on there, they've got the name, they have the scientific name. They have pretty much, what their water temperature has to be when they spawn, what kind of water they're in, what they like to eat, and where they can be found. So, and plus, that's just some of the smaller ones. We've got some that are about this big as far as in the case. And you can also they catch these on the end of the fly rod. They put a little Velcro thing on the end of it. They actually catch the fish right there in the gymnasium. So it's kind of pretty inventive situation. It's pretty cool. why we want to adopt this fishing in the school program, the main thing I think it is it's very fun, it's engaging, the students love it, teaches a life skill, and also it's a, you know, as far as fishing, it's a big family thing, you know. So if you get one that sort of likes fishing, hopefully they're going to bring some others in there. You just sort of more double your fishing numbers, which we're looking for also. Also, we're going to improve, you know, the environmental awareness and respect for our natural resources, which is what we're looking for. This here is one of the targets. It's a big round black target. It's almost like a fold out. Almost looks like a sunscreen that you put in your car. Pretty much what it looks like. It's round, and you use a Velcro. And on these, this is a bullseye target, and you can, you know, practice your accuracy with this. You can say, okay, I'm going to try to catch the largemouth bass, and you practice, you know, slinging your little Velcro into that thing, which is kind of pretty cool. This is one of the water scenes. This is where we've got 42 different targets that we can stick on there. It goes from flies to all the different ants to all the different fish. There's about 42 of those that you can put on there and practice, you know, casting and catching. So this is one of the fish that you're looking at right now. Has all that on there. The curriculum for this is it comes with they got it down to where it's 10 daily plans that can accommodate up to about 50 to 55, I mean about 40 students for about 50 minutes. It's got a DVD and it's got a textbook that comes with it for the teacher that really gets into lots of really deep detail. So you can take this program and you can make it really amateur or just really for layman's terms, or you can take it up to the highest level and just really get serious with it. Some of the results, some of the surveys they've done, which I think is kind of pretty interesting in this program, is 39% of the kids said they never fished before when they had this at the school. 77% said that this, after taking this, it made them more interested in fishing. 61% said it made them more confident to go fishing. 65% have been fishing since they took the program. 31% said they fish more because of the program now. And 25% went out and bought them some fishing rods and reels and all the gear that go with it. So that's, you know, it's pretty good numbers for just being a young program. Right now it's in 12 states is where it's at right now. And by the end of 2012 this year, they're hoping to have about 125 schools in the program. And right now in Tennessee, we have 16 schools in the program. And I've got another 10 grants sitting on my desk right now. So here we're going to have almost 30 schools by the end of the year, it looks like. Things keep going like they're going so far. But it's kind of jumped out there and took off. And we've got several employees that have kind of taken this thing and kind of running with it out there, some of the officers and some of the managers and biologists. So it's really going strong. So I don't see it. All I see is it going stronger and stronger. So that's pretty cool. That's all of the fishing program.
Go ahead.
Don, what's the cost to the school after the grant per kid?
It's going to be $750. The kit's right at $3,300, and they get $1,500 from the Fishing Education Foundation, and then we're giving them $1,000. So it's right at $750.
Are those 16 schools scattered across the state, or is it all in one
They're
region?
scattered pretty much everywhere. I know that the biggest concentration right now is in Overton County. Just about every school in Overton County has it, and then Salina has it right there. Because Bill Moulton, the officer in Clay County, he came down. He had our very first training we did, which was in 2010. He came, and he's got a pretty good group of volunteers, and they took off with it pretty strong. But I see it going, especially Region 3 or Region 4. Region 4, it ought to be, man, that's fly fishing heaven up there, there's no doubt.
Don, do you have any thing that's worked up that we can present to the schools yet, or is that have them just contact you, or what?
You just tell them to holler at me, call me. Right now, I've got a volunteer that's pretty much spearheading the whole thing. His name is Jeff Recker, and he's kind of took this thing sort of like took it as his own little baby, and he's been running crazy with this thing around through here. We have a training coming up here in Nashville on October the 10th and the 11th, and it's going to be at the John Overton High School, and they're a Metro Nashville school, and they're in the program too. One of their teachers over, Terry Strickland, he does the archery in the school program. Plus he does this right here too, and they're gonna be doing the training out there. Yeah.
Sir, do you have to seek permission from the local school board, or what are the steps?
Most steps is if the principal's okay with it, it pretty much goes. But most of the time, the principal runs it by, somebody on the school board or the commission. It varies, by every school system. Because especially dealing with archery in the school program, some of them you go in there, you train the teacher, and they start shooting bows and arrows. And other times you have to go to the commission, go to their county commission, the school board, and talk to them and get their blessing. But most of the time, as long as the principal's okay with it, most of the time it's pretty much a go. They sort of run the show most of the time.
And it's obviously like an after-school program, I would assume, or it's actually incorporated in the school day?
This is in school during school hours. Sure is. Yep. A lot of it's taught in PE, but to me, a science teacher can jump all over this. This would be a wonderful science, and especially with all the insects in there. You talk about the ecology and talk about the whole life cycle of all the fish, and you got all the information right there on the fish. It's pretty interesting.
How many days a week are they allowed to skip school to fish?
My daddy was pretty lenient, I'll tell you that right there. As long as I was hunting or fishing, it didn't really matter. But I don't know. I know Terry Strickland at Overton every year. Towards the end of the year, he always takes his kids on a fishing trip. He takes them somewhere on a fishing trip. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of neat. I'm sure not all of them can do that, but some of them do that.
And I guess one last question, in these tight budget times, there's no additional spend, because I know if I go back to Johnson City as a city commissioner and pitch this, the first question the school board is going to ask me is there any additional cost from the school board on this?
No, nothing. No.
Okay.
No, it's just whatever we can get in grant money and whatever's left, that's what the school would have to come up with. That's all that's it.
Well, it was just a question I'm sure
Yeah.
that'll be asked, so.
I mean, not unless one of the rods or reels or something breaks or something, there'd be something there. It's
Thank you.
kind of with the archery in the school program, the most expensive part is the arrows. That's the most expensive part is the arrows. It's usually the thing that tears up if something's going to tear up.
Anyone else on the fishing project? All right, go ahead.
You ready? This one will work, I promise. Sorry about that. We'll talk a little bit now about the National Archery in the School program. Here in Tennessee this year, this was our 6th annual Tennessee State Tournament. We held at the Tennessee Miller Coliseum there in Murfreesboro on April the 2nd and the 3rd. And just a quick glance at the benefits of NASP. Some of the best things I believe as far as what NASP does, it improves the students' self-confidence, their focus and concentration, also their behavior, and also we can show as attendance. On archery days, attendance goes up. That's what it does on archery days. A lot of the teachers talk about the focus and the concentration the kids have now, not only just during archery, but also in other subjects. And right now, NASP is 10 years old. And so they've done some pretty good surveys and got some pretty good benefits as far as what the NASP program does. So we started in October 2004 with 12 schools. And right now we have 251 schools across the state that enjoy NASP. Right now we're reaching approximately 31,000 students annually with this program. And we're fixing, I've got a training coming up this Saturday here in Nashville. And then also, we're coming up to Bristol November the 6th. We're fixing to get all the Bristol city schools in the program. So we're fixing to add another at least 10 schools right there within the next month, probably, at least. So it's going pretty steadily. We do all the training ourselves. There's several of us that go around and train these teachers all for ourselves. It's usually just a 1 day, about an 8-hour training is what it takes. So it doesn't take a whole lot of their time. I've never done one on Saturday before. I've always done it during the week, but I caved into this group and told them I'd come out there on Saturday and do it for them. So we're going to do Saturday. Not go bow hunting, I guess. That's all right. NAS is for all students, not just those with athletic skills and abilities. We've had them come out and shoot with in wheelchairs. We've had this young man here. He's been there 4 years in a row. He's got MD, and he has to have a special chair that he leans against. But he's been shooting for the last 4 years with us. So we don't just reach just the athlete. We reach a totally different kid out there is what we reach, which really I think is the best part of this program. Don't have to be strong. Don't have to be real fast. Anybody can do this. This year we had a record year for our tournament. We had 1,245 students representing 56 schools to register. And we had 1,085 of them show up, which I thought that was a pretty good turnout. And of those 1,085, 440 of them were females, 645 were males. So get a pretty good mix of that. And plus, what makes up a team is anywhere from 16 to 24 students. And we take the top 12 scores, and 8 of those must be of one gender, and 4 must be of the other gender. So you've got to have a male and you've got to have females on the same team. So, plus you get the males and the females, the different age groups to talking and mingling with each other, and it turns out pretty good. This year, our state champion in high school was Van Buren County, and this was their 4th year in a row to win this. I mean, they're almost invincible when it comes to the high school. This year, Rutherford County, they really turned it up a big notch this year. They won the middle school, then they came out, and also they won the elementary school. I love the little kid's expression in the middle right there. It's kind of funny. It's cool. Yeah. Our overall individual winners this year, both of them were 9th graders. That's what they were. And this is the first year. We set a record this year. This is the first year we had anybody break 290. The total score is 300. And Hunter Mason, he shot a 293. Then we also had a 292 and a 290 this year. So we're getting better. We're getting there. We're starting to get a lot better. We had over about 50 TWRC staff work this event. From the participants with scoring and registration and everything. Region 2, pretty much, I had about half of the workforce came from Region 2, but I want to thank Region 1 and 3 and 4 and everybody else, because without their help, there's no way we can run this thing. We've almost got down to a science now, I think, though. It's kind of scary sometimes, that's for sure. This year, the national tournament was held in May the 11th and 12th. And we had about 260 of our students had the opportunity to go up there. We had about 200 show up at the national tournament. This year, the national tournament, they got in the Guinness Book of World Records for the largest archery tournament ever held. They had 8,100 kids to come to that tournament this year. If you've never been to archery tournaments, but I would suggest if you ever get an opportunity to go up there, take that 3.5-hour drive to Louisville and go watch that tournament. I mean, all those kids, it is amazing what happens at that tournament. It is awesome. It's incredible. If it doesn't get you excited about archery, you can't get excited. I promise you, seeing those many kids do that. It's pretty nice. Next year, 2013, we're going to go back to Miller Coliseum one more time, and this will probably about do it right here. Because I'm looking this year, we're probably going to have about 15 to 1,600 kids. That's going to max me out right there at the Miller Coliseum probably. But this year we're going to do it again on April 4th and 5th. I'd invite you to come out, and when it gets a little bit closer, I'll definitely holler at you. And, so that's where we're at, archery in the school.
Thank you, Don. Questions or comments from the commission?
I appreciate Don when you came to Bristol, and I attended the training day that he did with the PE teachers. I guess there were about 10 or 12 there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, but maybe one had ever shot a bow, and they went crazy over it. I mean, if you can just challenge the other commissioners, if y'all can get your schools just to look at it, I mean, the teachers love it, and unfortunately, we hadn't quite got it going yet, but I think they'll have it going by, you said November, is that right?
I think we're
But
coming
it's,
up.
the teachers love it, and I think it's just something exciting for them to do new and teach, and And I think it's gonna make a big impact in the Bristol school system, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're gonna come up on November the 5th. We're gonna set up on the 5th, and we're gonna train them on the 6th. And we're gonna have at least 3 total kits that we already worked that out with her. And they should be good to go right after Christmas break. They should have their stuff by January. They should be up and going strong. So, yeah, we're looking. You can get it down right now to $2,803. That's what you can get it down to. And we have a $1,000 grant. Then I have $500 grant from NASP. So looking at $1,303. That's the rock bottom deal. What you can get it down to. So, yeah.
Commissioner Cox?
At these shoots or fishing tournaments, do we try to have a presence of, have a booth or a table or information, selling licenses, talking about TWRA and promoting the agency and that kind of thing?
At the national, the archery and school tournament, we always have a booth set up with just some of our local information. Just a little bit of everything we got. The foundation always comes over and they sell their T-shirts and hats and all that stuff out there. I've never thought about selling license at that, but that's probably not a bad idea. I mean, it wouldn't be very difficult. That's probably not a bad idea to try that.
Parents and grandparents.
Sure, yeah. 'Cause I know the foundation, they sell the heck out of the T-shirts and hats at that place. I mean, that logo right there, I mean, that's world famous to those people. They love that thing. It's great.
Anyone else? Audience? Thank you, Don. I think it's really neat that we've covered the fishing now, and we have archery and shooting. There's no reason why our youth can't get involved in something, so that's great. Thank you. Director Carter?
Before we leave both of these subjects and move on, we're really proud of all the folks that are here and those that aren't here as well, of course. And I don't know how long the teams are going to stay. They're certainly welcome, encourage you to stay through the rest of the meeting. But in the event that some of them may run out, this is just a suggestion, Chairman Schuster here. If we could take a break now before Nat gives his presentation, then I know Lee could get some pictures and with the commissioners and with the teams. And if that's okay with you all, we might do that and get that. So I don't want to miss somebody.
Great.
Thank
Great
you.
suggestion. We'll do that. Chairman, can we take a break?